Hello, welcome back to my channel. Since we are coming to the end of the year, today I'm going to be talking you through my most worn items in my wardrobe in 2020. I did one of these videos last year, however I was just kind of going off memory how many times I felt like I'd worn certain pieces, but this year I've actually been keeping record of everything that I've worn. Unfortunately I didn't start until March, so I don't have a record of what I was wearing over the summer months of January and February, so I'm sure I've worn some of my dresses more times than I have on record, but since the 1st of March I have been tallying up how many times I've worn absolutely everything in my wardrobe. So today I'm going to share with you the top 1 or 2 items from each category, for example shoes and dresses, so the things that I've worn the most out of each category for the year. And in fact we are going to start with shoes today. The pair of shoes that I have worn the most in 2020 is these trainers here. These are called The Trainer and they are from Everlane. I did buy these in March, so the amount of tally marks that I have is the amount of times that I've worn them, and I have worn these 94 times this year. I think that is incredible for one pair of shoes. So these are trans-seasonal for me, super easy to wear with any outfit, and obviously I just do because I've worn them 94 times since March. Next up for dresses, I have 2 that I'm going to show you. They're not the exact same number of wears, but there's only 1 number difference, so I thought I would show you both. So the dress that I have worn the most this year is actually my ditzy print dress from Max. So this is a loose, flowy, midi-length dress, and I have worn this 19 times this year. And that sounds like a really low number compared with 94 for the shoes, but I keep my shoe collection quite minimal. Whereas dresses, I just live in dresses, so I have a lot of dresses. So each one is going to get worn not as often. But yeah, 19 times is the most that I've worn any of my dresses this year, and this is the one. And I thought I would also show you this one because I've worn this one 18 times. This is actually very similar. They're both a very neutral colour palette, both long sleeves, both a midi length. This one I actually picked up in Japan and it has a little bow that just ties on the side here. I think the reason I've worn these 2 dresses the most out of all of my dresses is because they are so neutral and they kind of lend themselves to any season. So a lot of my summer dresses I put away in autumn, winter, and I don't wear them unless it's quite warm. But these 2 I find very easy to layer up with a pair of tights underneath, a pair of boots, and a jumper or a coat over the top. So I've been able to wear these ones a lot more than I would be able to with, say, a dress like the one I'm wearing today, which is quite summery because of its colour. Next up, the skirt that I have worn the most often this year is this one here. This is from Whistle, which is a brand stocked at Farmers. It is a midi-length black skirt with white spots. It has a bit of a elasticated section on the side of the waistband, and I just find that this goes with absolutely everything. I've had this for I think 3 years now, and I reckon it's been my most worn skirt every year that I've had it. Still an absolute favourite, a staple in my wardrobe, and this year I have worn it 21 times. Same thing as the dresses, I find this very easy to wear in lots of different seasons. In summer I'll wear it with a really lightweight top, and then in winter I will pack on the layers and I'll have tights and boots and I'll have a chunky jumper on top, and this does me really well in the heat and in the cold. My most worn pair of trousers is actually a pair of jeans. That's not really a huge surprise, but it is these jeans here, which I think are my most recent jeans, although not my most recent trousers. So these are the mum jeans from Topshop in sand, and I have worn these 36 times this year. I love the shape of these. I think they're quite flattering on, and I also love the colour because it is again quite neutral, something that I can wear in a lot of seasons. I think I'm starting to see a theme here. You know, if I am going to wear jeans in summer, it's probably going to be a light coloured pair like these ones, but I did also wear them quite a lot in winter because I was really loving those tonal looks. I just wish they had a little bit of stretch to them. Sometimes I find them a little uncomfortable, especially towards the end of the day when I've eaten a lot of food, but obviously I am still wearing them quite a lot. And my most worn loungewear this year was obviously my Bonita set. I do also have the little crop, but I got that a bit later. So although I do usually wear that when I'm wearing these, I'm not including it today because I have worn it quite a few times less than I've worn these. I have not had these for the whole year. In fact, I think I've probably had them well under 6 months. But the loungewear bottoms I have worn 44 times, and then the cropped hoodie I have worn 45 times. So I am wearing them really regularly. I have stopped wearing them now that it's really hot because this is the winter set, so it's got a lovely fleece lining on the inside, which I love when it's cold, but at the moment it's just too hot. But this is an absolute winner for me, and you know when the weather drops I'm going to be pulling it back out as soon as I can. My most worn top is a bit of a boring one. It's just something that I use for layering, but it is actually my Uniqlo Heat Tech top. So this is not something that I wear as my top. I just wear it as a layering piece underneath something that I'm wearing usually in winter. I think that's when I wore this the most. But I did wear this 32 times this year. There are other shirts that I wear for this purpose as well, and they all had quite a similar number. I think there was one with 31, one with 30 wears, so I do really just cycle between them. But this one did just happen to have the most wears, and I think that's because it's skin colored. I'm able to wear it underneath these light colored dresses, for example, and you can't see that it's there. My most worn jumper this year is another one that I actually bought at the start of the year, and it is my Hogwarts jumper that I picked up from Universal Studios in Japan. So I bought this in January. I probably wore it a few times before March when I started tallying them up, but since March I've worn this 31 times. Again, I think because it's black, it's quite an easy thing to pair with lots of other items. I wore this with a bunch of my dresses. I wore it with my jeans all the time. It goes under any coat or jacket, it goes with any bottoms, any dress really, so it's just a really easy one to wear. I thought I would also show you my second most worn jumper, even though it's not super close in the amount of times that I wore it, but just because a jumper's not really like shoes where you can wear the same pair every single day and no one really notices. You kind of need to be wearing different jumpers if you want to change up the look of your outfit. So my second most worn jumper this year was this one here. This is a beige cashmere roll neck jumper from Max. So this is the second thing from Max that we've actually had in the video, and I wore this 24 times this year. Again, look at the color palette, it's gonna go with everything. This I loved wearing with my two neutral dresses. They look so beautiful together. So those were some outfits that I absolutely loved in winter. Another very versatile piece that I've worn a lot. Onto outerwear, I'm going to show you two pieces of outerwear that I've worn the most this year. One kind of more summery thing and one more wintry one. The summer one being my denim jacket. The reason I'm showing you this, even though it has way less wears marked on my sheet than the coat I'm going to show you, is because I would have worn this heaps in January and February because it was summer. I would have been chucking this on with pretty much everything, but I wasn't counting at that point. So I have this down as 16 wears, but I know that that number is way higher because I just hadn't started counting. So 16 wears for this, and those are all basically in the last month. So I'm pretty much wearing this every second day because, you know, in summer, when you're wearing a summery dress, the easiest thing to chuck on is a denim jacket. And this is the only denim jacket that I have, so I know it will have been this one. I love it because it's oversized, and you know, the denim just kind of goes with everything in summer, so it's a super easy piece to wear. In fact, I made it up. The coat I'm going to show you has exactly the same number of wears. So I wore this 16 times as well. Although, same kind of story, because I bought this in Japan and it was winter while we were in Japan, so I probably wore it a bunch of times while we were there as well. So this is a light green, very oversized jacket that I absolutely love. I picked up a few coats for winter this year, but this was the one that I was reaching for the most, which really surprised me actually, because the other coats that I picked up were like brown, black, white, but no, I was reaching for the green one. I just found that even though it was green, it did go with a lot of things that I was wearing. This was really nice. It was so comfortable. I love the shape of it. And yeah, I just reached for it a lot in winter. Onto accessories, my most worn belt this year was this dark brown one here, and I think the reason for that is because the buckle is not like a normal buckle that's really fiddly. This one literally just slots in and then it clicks, and you don't have to do half the work that you normally do with a buckle. So I just found this one really easy to grab for. Also the dark brown again went with all my neutral colours, so it was a really easy one to reach for, and I wore this 30 times this year. My most worn bag is another green item. So this is a darker green bag from Forever New, and I wore this 14 times this year. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind during the week I have a school bag that I take that's literally just a boring black bag provided by my school. So I'm only ever wearing bags in the weekends, and only if I'm going anywhere, which is not every weekend. So yeah, I wore this 14 times, but this was the bag that I took to Japan with me. So that whole 3 weeks that we were in Japan, that I wasn't marking what I was wearing, this is what I was wearing. So I guess add another approximately 21 or 22 days to that. Every winter I pull out my tights that have fleece on the inside because they keep me so warm, so much warmer than just regular tights. And this year I wore these 49 times, so that is quite a lot. So I thought I'd mention that, even though they're kind of in a category of their own, I wore these heaps. My most worn earrings this year is actually a pair that I picked up very recently. I've had these for less than 2 months, I would say. So these are the Bubble Huggies, which I picked up from a New Zealand brand called Latest Oasis. They're just a really simple kind of everyday hoop. I wear them to sleep in, I wear them for everything unless I particularly want a different pair of earrings. So any day that I'm not sure what earrings to go with, or I want my statement jewellery to be somewhere else, those are the earrings that I wear, and I have worn them 27 times. So keeping in mind I've only had them for less than 2 months, that's like every second day. The necklace that I've worn the most this year is the one that I'm wearing right now. It is the Imperfect Circle necklace, which was a collaboration between Carly Rowena and Lisa Angel. I picked this up late last year, I think, and again I probably did wear it quite a few times before I started counting, but I have worn it 64 times that I've counted this year. It's just a really fine gold chain, and it is a circle on the end, but as the name suggests, it's not a perfect circle, and I love that symbolism that things don't need to be perfect. I think I would find a perfect circle on the end of a necklace just really boring and plain, so I love this one. I thought I would also include my watch, even though I'm really annoyed at myself now, but I didn't count how many times I wore my watch, because I just kind of thought this is an everyday thing. But I wear my watch every single day that I'm at school, so I don't usually wear it in the weekends. I wasn't wearing it through lockdown, but I wear it every single day that I'm going to work. And actually, I counted with my class how many days we were at school this year. I think we made it to 148. It was lower obviously because of lockdown, but 148. So in theory, if I have worn this every day that I've gone to school, and I think I have, then I've worn it 148 times this year. So this is a rose gold watch from Pasco's that I've had for about 5 or 6 years, I think. I did have to replace the battery at the start of the year because it did finally stop working, but I just love this because it goes with everything that I wear. It's perfectly my style. It goes with all my other jewellery items. So yeah, 148 times that I've potentially worn this year. That is so many wears. I think we'll leave it there. I did also tally up my gym gear and stuff, but I didn't honestly go to the gym that often this year, so those numbers are quite low. So we're gonna leave it there for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you do like the content that I make, I would love it if you subscribe. I upload at least one new video every single week. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!